What's up, Ragin Nation? How's it going? This is Alex Yu, and in this video, I'm going to be doing a review for Transformers Prime Season 3 Beast Hunters. And yes, I am fully aware that it came out in 2013. I'm just a little bit late in watching it, and yesterday was when I finished watching it, and it was awesome. I finished watching all 13 episodes over the course of 3 nights. I watched a couple of episodes on each viewing, and then I finally finished it last night, and man, it was so good. Man, what an amazing series. Now, out of all the seasons in Transformers Prime, I would have to say that they ended it off with a bang. They ended it off really, really exciting, and they brought in a lot of really great story elements that were I guess more unique and more exciting than the first 2 seasons. And that's what makes Beast Hunters really, really awesome. Now, I'm not going to be reviewing each individual episode. There are 13 episodes. All I'm going to really talk about is that I'm going to be reviewing the season as a whole, and I'm just going to recap on some of the elements that I really, really liked about it. Now, first of all, what I got to point out is that the thing that really caught me a little bit off was that I don't think I've ever seen Optimus Prime that severely wounded ever. I mean, we saw him killed in Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, but he was revived. But we've never seen him so beat up that he's just lying there and he's out of commission and he's just like, he's almost got no life in his spark left. And in an Age of Extinction, he was kind of like that, but he was still able to, maintain, you know what I'm saying? But in the first episode of Season 3, they had just encountered a huge battle, and then, we continue where he left off in Season 2, and he's just so wounded. So that really gave us an idea and really set the tone of what the rest of the season is going to be like. We're going to be encountering a lot more extremities in this season. Okay. And then, of course, speaking of extremities, I love that Optimus Prime got his major upgrade after after being in contact with the hammer of Solus Prime, the sword, the weapon that that really gave him all the upgrades, and that would be the wings. The wings, his whole body is upgraded, his alt mode, and of course the Gatling gun, which he just grabs and then just materializes, and that was really awesome. I gotta tell you that when I saw Optimus Prime return in his new form, it gave me goosebumps. It gave me nerd chills. It was kind of the same feeling that I got when a money shot happens in the Transformers live action films. It was the same feeling. I had this big smile on my face, and when I saw him come back, I was like, whoa, that was freaking awesome. And not only that, all the action sequences were a lot more dynamic. They added a lot of slow-mo in it. It was, the cinematography was just very, very dynamic. There was a lot of moments where he was just flying around, and then the camera's over his shoulder, and he's just with his Gatling gun, and he just unleashes full-on brutality to Starscream and Megatron, especially Megatron, just throwing him through like solid structures and all that. It was awesome. So that was a great element. I also like that all the Autobots have their moments. I mean, they always did in Season 1 and Season 2, but they like some of the Autobots, for example, Smokescreen. I mean, he plays a bigger part in the movie. He was more of like a secondary character. He's a supporting character. But now we're really seeing more of their personalities and what their contributions are. And I love that, now we're seeing Team Prime. Okay, we get the introduction of Ultra Magnus. Wheeljack is no longer the Lone Ranger. Smokescreen, he's officially part of the team, and they together are all main characters. I mean, originally, Smokescreen and Wheeljack were supporting characters, but now they are just as equal and on the same level as the main Autobot team. So I love that, now they've formed Team Prime, and they're all very essential in the battle. So very, very cool. And what's also very cool is that we get to see the fate of a a villain who is a bit of a favorite, a fan favorite. I like Arachnid, okay? I really like her character. I think she's very, very ruthless and relentless with her Insecticons. And we get to see the fate of her. And that was a little bit unexpected to see her come out like that and see her go out like that. And then have that episode really revisit the whole zombie, Cybertronian concept was something totally unexpected. And I think that was a great way to end her character. I mean, or rather, have her final appearance. So that was something that I thought was pretty unexpected. And when it's unexpected, that means that they showed us something very, very different and original. Okay? And I love that this season is an all-out war. Every battle counts. You know how in Season 1 and Season 2 there's always these fights, these mini conflicts, and these little one-on-one battles, but every single battle in each of these episodes actually leads to something bigger, and it all matters. It's not just action for the sake of action. It all actually serves a purpose to a bigger picture. And I like that all 13 episodes is really one big story. In Season 1 and 2, while it is very great, there's a lot of like these mini stories, these mini stories that they're there, but we don't think they're going to revisit them ever again. But then in all 13 episodes of Season 3, it really feels like it's one big story, okay? And of course, we get the introduction of the Predacons, namely Predaking. It was cool to see him transform. It was cool to see the reactions of the Decepticons when he transformed, because they originally thought that he only has a beast mode. But that was cool to see that the Predacons is there's really a huge element in the history of the Cybertronians, all right? Because we just originally thought that, because of G1, they're just a Decepticon faction, these combiners, right? But now we're seeing more of a history of the Decepticons. They really, really flesh it out. I mean, I'd love to see it fleshed out more, but it's really cool to know that there is this history, and we get to know, what they're all about. And of course, this brings us Shockwave. Shockwave, Decepticon scientist. I like that he's more aggressive in this one. In G1, he's really more of kind of on defensive mode all the time. But now he's more of the aggressor. I mean, he bullies Starscream around, and so it's really it really gives for a bigger character dynamic for his character, of course. And so very, very cool. Now, there are some really great homages in this one. Soundwave, we've always known, was a very loyal Megatron servant, a Megatron minion, Decepticon minion. And then we get this awesome, probably the best Easter egg in all 3 seasons, and that is Soundwave, Autobots inferior, Soundwave superior. Or Soundwave superior, Autobots inferior. That just whoa, that made me smile, that made me laugh. It made me feel like, okay, this is a great nod to G1. And, of course, that's Frank Welker's voice. Very, very awesome moment in the series. Now, here's something very interesting. Ratchet's fate in the last couple of episodes, we see Ratchet captured. Okay, captured by Soundwave. Of all the Decepticons, we have Soundwave capturing Ratchet, and Soundwave, we always thought he was just a communications expert, but he actually did something, which was actually quite crucial in a more a physical sense, and that is he captured Ratchet and brought him to the Decepticon warship, right? And so we have Ratchet captured, okay. And, we're so used to seeing Ratchet not doing any battle. He's only in Autobot headquarters, managing all the computer stuff, and he's always yelling at the kids, and he's always almost disciplining the other Autobots, right? But now we're seeing a different side of him. Now, this is when I thought we see not only a different side of Ratchet, but his bigger contribution for the bigger picture. And not only that, but we see another side of Ratchet where when it comes to desperation, he needs to start changing up his personality. And it was a time of desperation, and we don't know what's going to happen. In fact, I thought his character was quite unpredictable. I didn't know what was going to happen, and I thought that part was really well written in the series, and it really, really made his character shine. Because Ratchet is Ratchet. We always see Ratchet acting the same way in all 3 seasons. Then finally, we encountered this moment, and then that was a pretty desperate moment, and he had to do whatever was possible, not only in his wits, but as in his physical abilities, even though it's not much. He had to do whatever he could, because he was almost killed. I mean, he had to drive away in his, in slow ambulance through the ship, from Viacons, and then he gets stepped on by Megatron, and then he gets fed to Predaking, and that's a desperate moment for him. That was a moment where you really felt that this could be the end of Ratchet, and we've seen characters get killed off and never return in this series. So it is possible that we might have a sad ending. It's highly possible. I didn't know what was going to happen. I couldn't have predicted what was going to happen, right? But yeah, that was pretty crazy. So you're really seeing this desperation, not only in just Ratchet's character, but in the Autobots. I mean, Ratchet was captured, and they had to desperately find him. The warship was nowhere to be found, and they had to do whatever they could to find that warship. And then Optimus was just relying on human technology to seek out that warship. But then when that space bridge, the air bridge, or rather the ground bridge, closed off, and he couldn't make it through, I was just thinking, oh man, he just missed it. So I was really invested in his character. All right, now. This brings us to Deadlock, which is the final episode, episode 13, and what a great finale. That was a spectacular finale for an animated series for Transformers. That was where the entire episode was a final battle. All 20 minutes of the entire episode was a final battle, and that was really, really exciting. It was action-packed. Great moments of small action and big action, and we get to see some new developments, of course. I mean, I've already mentioned Ratchet actually doing some fighting. We actually see Ratchet caring about humans. I mean, he's a character that has always cared about humans, but he never actually reveals it, and he finally reveals it in the end, which made for a really great character moment. We get to see Bumblebee killed in the most brutalic fashion. I don't even know if brutalic is even a word, but the most brutal fashion, being shot in slow motion. His chest gets split apart, and you're like, oh my god, if Bumblebee we could be seeing the ultimate doom of Bumblebee, and then later on, he comes back. And that was totally unexpected. I thought that, well, you know what? When you're absorbed and so invested in the story so much, you forget about everything else. You forget that he's going to be returning in Robots in Disguise, the next animated series that comes out next year. You just completely forget about that. You're just in complete shock that actually happened. And then once that sword went through Megatron, and then you hear Megatron's voice, or rather someone call out Megatron, I actually thought that was Ratchet's voice. I thought that was Ratchet's voice, mainly because it sounded like Ratchet, and then it would make sense that it was Ratchet, because that is his moment to really do some serious damage after Megatron stepped on him, after being captured on his ship. I thought it was Ratchet. I felt that had it been Ratchet, it would have been a really great heroic moment. But it wasn't. It was even better. It was Bumblebee, and I was like, what? What the heck just happened there? All right, so Bumblebee yelled out Megatron's name, and then he impaled him with the sword, and that was quite a death scene. I mean, that was a really, really great death scene. That was awesome. And it was Bumblebee. It wasn't Ratchet, it was Bumblebee, and it was a really big redeeming feature, because we've been waiting for so long for Bumblebee to get his voice back, okay, and finally gets his voice back, and not only does he get his voice back, but he's able to express himself right before he nails the Decepticon leader, literally. All right, so that was a great character moment. And you know what was also great? Okay, I actually felt this the separation between the Autobots and the humans. Okay, there was a sense of, there was a feeling, there was an emotion. It was sad to see the Autobots get separated from the humans after such a long journey. Season 1, Season 2, Season 3. They didn't automatically, accept the humans in the beginning, especially RC and Jack. All right? They didn't automatically accept them. Ratchet definitely was someone who didn't accept them, but deep down inside you know that he means well, right? But you see this emotional departure, and you know, it was sad. It was really sad to see it end like that. But it was great. When you're that invested in these characters and in a cartoon, you're that invested in the story, you're that invested in the characters, you really paid attention to all the dialogue and the writing. You really see that, you know, they were in it. They're a family. They spent a lot of time together, and to have them separate for their own, you know, their own personal reasons and their own cause, the cause that they've been fighting for, you know, it's great. But then it's also sad, and it was sad to see them go. It was almost like I was saying goodbye to a good friend. You know what I'm saying? And forever. So there you have it. That's all I gotta say in this video. The last thing I gotta mention is that if I'm to compare all the Transformers seasons that I've ever watched and all the movies, I'd have to say, okay, let's not say the movies. Okay, actually, yeah, let's add in the movies. Okay, I'd have to say that Transformers Beast Hunters is the best. Seriously, all 13 episodes, if you watch it as a whole, I have to say that this story as a whole, the bigger picture, is probably the best telling of Transformers that I've ever seen. Great characters, great story. I know a lot of people say that G1 is the best, but let's really let's really look at this. All right, G1 was cool. All right, and it is still cool, but Beast Hunters had some really great writing, some really great character moments, and really great visuals, and just positive all around. I gotta say that Beast Hunters, when I'm comparing it to G1, Season 3 was definitely better than all of the seasons in G1. I'm just gonna go as bold enough to say that Season 3 was really amazing. Better than G1, okay? Alright, G1 is great, but Season 3 of Transformers Prime was incredible, okay? And, I mean, the story in Beast Hunters is better than any of the Michael Bay films. Okay, I'm serious. This was awesome. It had a great finale. It was just full on, even the final battle, it had no humans in it. Okay, like it was just straight up Autobots versus Decepticons, and it had some great cinematic sequences. Okay, and the last thing I'm gonna say is that I haven't seen this yet. Okay, I'm going to be watching this, and I'm going to be doing my review for it, and I'm really excited and looking forward to this. Okay, so I'm not going to read the comments section below because I know some of you guys might spoil it for me because you might be overexcited for me to watch it, but I just wanted to express how I felt about the season, and it was absolutely excellent. And for anybody who's never seen Transformers Prime at all, check this out. You have to watch Season 1, Season 2, Season 3, and of course you have to work your way up to Predacon Rising. You have to check it out. It is so good, okay? And it's definitely a combination of G1 and the live-action films. It's like the great visuals and action of the live-action films with the great stories and characters that we loved in G1. Combine them together, you have Transformers Prime. Okay? Now, I only have one little complaint about Season 3, and that is Predaking was the only named Predacon. Okay? All the other ones were clones. I was hoping to see actual Predacons, like ones that would be named like Rampage or Headstrong or Dive Bomb, you know, something like that. I was hoping that we'd see actual new Predacons as characters that we would see in a couple of episodes, but we didn't get that. So that was really unfortunate. It was something that I was hoping for, and the other thing that I was hoping for was that when you notice, when you look at the toys, you'll notice the toys have their Beast Hunter upgrades. I was hoping that in Season 3 we would see them get their Beast Hunter upgrades. They didn't get their Beast Hunter upgrades. They ended up with some hand-to-hand weapons, like Bumblebee had a shield and some other things that the other guys had, but we didn't get to see the Beast Hunter upgrades that the toys actually had. So those are my only complaints about the season, but other than that, still very awesome. Okay, so there you have it. That's all I gotta say in this video. I'll give it a 9 out of 10. Very great, and definitely recommended. So stay tuned for my review of Predacon Rising, and we shall check that out very soon. As always, if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like me on Facebook, the Ragin Nation. Also follow me on Twitter at Ragin Nation. My name is Alex. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace. Tessa, and because of that, Cade and Shane have to go on their human mission and rescue her at all costs. So we got the damsel in distress element there.